Hey everyone, this is Gleb Bakhmutov, and today I want to show my custom assertion that I've written. It's in cypress-map project, which has a lot of custom queries and commands and assertion like possess that I added. And it's replacement for the built-in chai assertion should have property. And this is why we need this. So imagine I have a request, or it could be intercept, something that returns a complex object. So I'm making a request. If I look at the request, it yields an object with a body, headers, duration, and so on. And it's not even the full picture. To see all the properties, I need to log the object yielded by the side request. And now you can see all the properties that are not even serialized when Cypress shows when you click on the command. So let's say I want to validate some properties, like is status okay, is status 200. Maybe let's go inside the body and check its properties. So I can attempt doing this by just, for example, saying should have property, and the name of property is status code, and the value is true. Okay, so that's great. Then I might want to validate the status code. So I say and have property status code. I think it's either status or status code. Oh, status right here, status. Okay, well, this doesn't work, and the error shows expected true to have property status. So why aren't we dealing with an object and instead we have a value true? Well, side request yields a big object. But when we use this assertion should have property, unlike most Cypress assertions, this assertion changes the current subject to the value of the property. So it was true, so now we are checking the value true, and of course it doesn't have property status. So because assertion changes, we can't validate property and continue working with object. So many people work around this by using then callback, getting the object, and then running a series of assertions. So to have property is status code. I mean, this is the same thing as before, but now we can take the same object and say status 200. Is status code okay? Oh, is okay status code. All right. Maybe we want to confirm that the body returned by the side request has an ID property. So we can say response to have nested property body.id and value is 1. And then if we returned undefined from then, we continue working with the same response object, so we can get its body property and then body and run more assertions, for example, to have keys. And so we want to be precise and say body, it has email property, ID, name, and post ID. And then maybe we want to validate something about the email, right? The emails are random, but we can say expect body, say email to be a string, for example, right? Or we can validate the same thing using body email, and we should probably give a note email so we know what we're checking. We can say to satisfy and use one of the predicates. Let's say that Lodash provides is string. And maybe we can say, okay, if it's a value, then it includes at symbol. Okay, so very verbose way of checking this complex object. Typically, I recommend using my size Spock plugin, but if you're already using cypress-map, if you already included cypress-map in your project, then you can check this object extremely conveniently. Okay, so let's think what we're doing right here. We have an object and we're checking if it has a property and a value of a property. So we can say should possess. So possess comes from cypress-map, just so you remember. Is okay status code, and a value is true. Okay, and I'm just gonna comment out this code, but we can see it for comparison. So this possesses property is okay status code and the value is true. The next thing, we can say and possess status, and we know the value 200. And notice we keep working with the same subject, we're not changing it. So the assertion possess keeps the original subject and just continues working it. Okay, we checked the status and possess, and we can use nested properties, of course. Well, here we can just say it's body. So we want to limit ourselves to just using the body object, and we say should possess, let's say ID 1, and have keys, and these are the same keys as before. So body, email, ID, name, post ID. Okay, the ID, what is this? And let's validate the email. So possess and the key email, and now we can pass instead of value a predicate. We can just say Cypress is string, and notice it reports that it passes the is string predicate. And in have to have a name, you can just construct a predicate on the fly to validate email, just like before, as includes at symbol. All right, so compare how verbose and cumbersome it was to validate this object with individual property checks using values. We don't even have to use a value. We can just say should possess the property, whatever value it has is fine. And we can deal with nested properties, and we can even use predicates to validate the value. So check out cypress-map and check out possess assertion.